The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, based on where you're located in the region. And thanks so much for joining today's webcast presented by Sage Alerts and Workflow. My name is Ali Ortiz, and I'm the ISV Program Manager here at Sage. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. The presentation will be around 45 minutes, so we'll have time for questions at the end. So if you can please enter those in the Q&A panel on your screen throughout the presentation, we'll be sure to go through those. The webcast will also be recorded, so we can distribute the recording and a PDF of the slides next week. With that said, I will go ahead and pass it over to Greg Swallow from Sage Alerts and Workflow to kick off the presentation.
Perfect. Thanks, Ali, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your time today, and those who haven't joined and that are going to get it, thank you for taking your time to watch it. Today's Actionable Insights, 12 ways to improve your business. So actionable insights, and if you take anything away from this conversation, these three value propositions: automate the detection of critically needed information, right? So there's something that I need to know within my ERP, my HRMS system that geez, would make a difference in my world. And then automate the delivery of the information. There's no sense knowing something if you can't deliver it and then finally react on it. So I need the action. There's something going on, it needs to go up to someone important who can solve the problem, and they can solve it, right? So those are the three takeaways of the software: detect, deliver, and actions. And you'll see that repeated throughout this presentation, as that's really what the software is doing. It's a component of business activity management, right? So BAM. And that's what the software is doing. It's sitting inside of a Sage product. And think of it similarly like a smoke detector. It's telling you there's a problem, there's an issue going on with something that you need to be aware of it. So that's the detection, then the delivery of it, and then asking you to act upon that. So what is it? It's the software solution that automates if-then. So if something happens in my business, then do this to it, right? Don't let it happen so we get to the end of the month, end of the week, and go, geez, if we'd only known, we could have solved that customer experience. We could have changed the outcome of it. We could have not short shipped the product. You can put any scenario to that because you didn't know. But if we had a software that's sitting within our system, if this happens, then do that. That's what you're going to get with Sage and Workflow. So some examples of that: if a new order comes in, then send an invoice to a client. But whatever actually happens with that order coming inbound, who do you need to notify? Maybe we want to notify the sales manager, salesperson that order's come in. Maybe we want to check the credit history of that customer as that order's coming in. Maybe we want to do the inventory levels to make sure we can fulfill that order coming in. So there's lots of different things more than just send an invoice to the client. There's a series of different events that come in the event pack that allow you to then drill down on that activity of that new order coming in. If a PO needs approval, then notify the CFO. Well, great, we notified them, but we need them to respond to it, right? So we want to receive an email back or an acknowledgement back from the CFO that, yes, you can now move that purchase order forward, or maybe there's a comment that needs to be added to it along the way so that you know, so it's not just sitting on their desk. If a client has an overdue invoice, then put them on credit hold. Well, that's probably the last thing you want to do, but maybe we want to send a invoice out or statement out in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then put them on credit hold. So there's all kinds of different examples that we can build around the ERP. And the event pack that's going to come with Sage Alerts and Workflow is going to have about 107 different events in it, just to start the conversation, but it's soft coded so that you can add and edit in any way you want to make it specific for your business. And for our customers on board who have HRMS, Sage HRMS systems on board, there's all kinds of different solution products, event packs that can be added to HRMS. So if you hire someone, then send the employee onboarding materials. Well, anyone in the HRMS world that's online today is that you know that each state has different criteria in hiring and also letting someone go. And sometimes there's 18, 20 different transactions or documents that have to be completed as we onboard people into our organization. So using the software, we allow you to make sure that that's happened in the appropriate amount of time, and then send reminders out if it didn't, so that we can complete those different things. So there's all types of different transactions from an HRMS point of view that comes with the software as well. And then for other people on board, we may have some fixed assets people, right? We're always buying within our corporations. We've got computers, we've got cars, we've got cell phones, we've got office equipment, right? So there's all types of things in fixed assets where we're onboarding and then depleting something or getting rid of it and trashing it out sort of ideas. So there's all kinds of things within the fixed asset world as well that we can look at with Sage Alerts workflow. So just in those 3 slides, I've given you about 250 different alerts that you can add into your Sage products today that will let you know what's going on in your business. So the benefits of if and then, right? So if something happens, then do this. What is that process? Well, it saves you time, it makes you more responsive, and it increases your knowledge, right? And so if it's all based on the customer experience or the employee experience internally, we want to make sure that we're getting critically needed data at the appropriate time to the appropriate person, and they're acting on it. So those are the benefits of if, then, do this. So I'm going to take you through a series of different scenarios now. And I just want you to think about how some of these things would work in your business and the value that it would bring to your business moving forward. So just keep an idea of, as I'm going through these slides, that, yeah, that makes sense to me and I can actually use that product. So when we get to the end, we got an actionable response for you to let's move forward with getting the software into your hands. So do you do the forms deliveries, right? So you have crystal reports, SSRS reports, different things, day-end sales, AR aging reports, all types of different reports going on with your organization all day long. Quotes are being delivered out to salespeople, drawings are being delivered out to engineering. All types of different things are happening and somebody is doing it. Maybe we want to use that software to get the software to deliver it. So at the end of the month, send out all the invoices, send out the statements, send out the statements, statement reminders, send out the dunning notices. Maybe it's picking lists. Maybe it's picking lists that we need to send to a printer in another state, for example, or another province along the way, because we got to get that information out to a warehouse or a distribution center. Maybe there's all types of different forms and creations that you're creating in a daily basis within your organization. And then someone is responsible for taking that form as a PDF or as a crystal report, what have you, sending this attachment, putting it on an email and sending it to the recipient. We can automate that whole process so it's running based on the triggering point of that form. It then goes through that next logical step. Well, these forms go to receiving, these forms go to finance, these forms go to our customers or our vendors. So there's all types of different forms deliveries that can be done with Sage Alerts and workflow. And then maybe have exception management, right? You run your businesses successfully, I'm sure, and all you want to know about is, hey, when it doesn't run. If everything's working fine, great, I'm having a good time. But when things start falling off the rails, I need to know immediately. I don't want to find out at the end of the week, end of the month sort of idea. So exception management. Perhaps you get an order in and the order comes in and says, hey, if you ship it by Friday, ship it on it can be received on a pallet. If it's shipped to arrive on Saturday, I need to be boxed in this configuration because I don't have a pallet driver there. I only have hand bombers. So I need someone to be able to less than 50 pounds per box, for example, from an exception management. There's all types of different things, COD on that order when it's receiving must come with WMIS reports, must come in a different, container configuration or pack to display. All types of information is being shared with you when your customers on the inbound of the order inbound. Let's capture that and make sure that we notify it. The other 99% of your business just runs along and everything's fine. It's the ones that stand out We want to make sure that everyone's aware, whether it be your pickers and packers or the shipping department, that someone's aware that something has changed in this order, need to be knowledgeable on it. Because the last thing you want to do, and I'm sure that some of you have had to dealt with this, is like, oh, the customer got it in the wrong config, they got the wrong part, they weren't allowed a substitution, whatever the story is, and now you're having to deal with bringing it back into your inventory and then replenishing that customer's that needs. So there's just an additional cost associated with it that you would have known if we had exception management going on at the beginning of the conversation. And then time response, right? So timing is critical. We're all dealing with shipping responsibilities of trying to get trucks at the right time, trying to get products offshore, inshore. All these types of things are affecting my order by date, right? So you have an order by date, cancel by date, ship by date. All types of different information is being shared with you from your customers on inbound of when things have to hit my store. Maybe it's my product needs to go to a distribution center, and that distribution center then has to go to a final destination, right? Each step along the way has a time response that something has to happen, or a date sensitive obligation that you put in there because that product needs to meet a shipping container, if you will. So let's monitor those things and send out reports to the appropriate people within your organization. Maybe at the beginning of the week, these are the things that have to ship this week. Maybe we send it out at the beginning of the day so it's on their desk. These are the items that we're anticipating that needs to be shipped today. And then at the end of the week, let's do a recap and an audit of what did we hit and what did we miss, right? So we can run a report at the end of the week and send it out to shipping and management and saying, like, we missed these dates, right? And that helps us to improve our cadence of what we're doing. So these time responses can be used both inbound and outbound, of knowing when something's supposed to happen and making sure it does happen, and then notify people prior to it so we don't miss it. Again, that customer experience, we don't want to get to the end of the week, the month, and say, geez, if we'd only known, we could have saved that. And then threshold monitoring. There's all kinds of different thresholds that we bounce up against, right? And it could be the amount of orders that we have in-house, the amount of inventory we have, the amount of machine time that we have to produce products, the discount levels that we're creating. All these things are thresholds that happen within your organizations. Not enough calls, not enough orders, not enough inventory on hand. These things are numbers that you build your business around, these KPIs that you look for. We can then create within Sage Alerts and Workflow and then send them out to you. These can come in a SSRS report, a Krista report, an Excel report, all the different things that you need to monitor to say, hey, we're coming up against this, and what should we be doing? You know, what is that next action? So if this happens, then do that, if you will, for threshold monitoring. And assignments and approvals. Do purchase orders that are sitting there and they need to go to someone for approval, and it may be because I need the drawings associated from engineering, or I need different ITAR, different things from the government standards to move things if I'm working with the DoD. There's all types of different things that need to be approved as it goes through your business. And then whose job is it to monitor it, right? Is it the salesperson to keep pushing it through? Is it finance person to keep pushing it through? Who owns that, getting that from order to cash process within your system? Let's have the software monitor anything that needs assignments and approvals as it's going through the system, and making sure that the people are aware, A, it's coming, so this is coming down the line, and B, if it didn't happen in a timely manner, that we respond to them again, saying it's now late, and then copy in a greater group of people so that they can see that this is now holding up a bigger project, if you will. So assignments and approval going through your system is a great way to use Sage Alerts and Workflow. And then enterprise-wide auditing, and this could be multiple different things, right? So I talked earlier about, well, I have Sage HRMS, I've got Sage CRM, I happen to own an ERP, Sage 100, then I've got some ISV solutions, some endorsed solutions that wrap around it for my warehouse, my pick and pack, maybe my taxes. All these types of things run your enterprise. Do we all have the same information in all the different systems? Is there a way that you can holistically look at all the different systems across your enterprise and bring all that data to one place and have a solution that then monitors everything so that you can see what's going on, right? Because there's duplicated data problems that we could be dealing with. There's different costs, there's different ship tos, there's different IDs for customers that are sitting in multiple different systems. So let's using an enterprise-wide monitoring, auditing of what's going on in that system. And that could be, hey, prices changed. Show me all the prices changed from my vendors. If you're dealing with it in a commodity items that do fluctuate on a daily basis. Maybe we want to know what's been changing in pricing at the moment of change, right? So that then we can update things within our system or take that information, react to it in a business manner. And then reports distribution. Every business runs on a series of reports, right? We're generating crystal reports, we're generating SSRS reports, we're creating PDFs reports. All those types of things are running your business right now, and then someone's job within your organization is to then distribute that and disperse that information out to a greater audience so that they react to it. The challenge is that we're all inundated with different reports and all types of information, and we don't have time to read the entire report. We want the specific things that are important to us that we need to react on, that are going to affect our job for today or the customer experience overall. Let's not deliver the haystack, if you will. Let's just deliver the needles of each report. What's important to finance, what's important to shipping, what's important to the warehouse people. They don't need to see the whole report, they just need the small components of it that affect what they're doing. We can take that information and then send it out to them on a granular basis so that you're getting what you need to do to react to. So not only we're saving from someone delivering those reports, we're delivering the reports with more meaningful data that's coming out to them. So there's all types of different reports that you're generating, and not necessarily just inbound, but outbound to your customers. So you may be, sending out information to your customers over and above their AR status, but you're saying your shipment is moved, or your items have now been packed, or your items are ready for ship, or your items have now been shipped. There's all types of information that you can proactively be sharing with your customers that you just don't have the mechanism to get that information out to them. With this product, you can now interact with your customers and or vendors in a meaningful way, in a real-time way, so that they know what's going on with their order. And then data cleansing, right? Again, lots of information, lots of companies run 10,000 SKUs and then start reusing them again, right? So we want to look for, hey, what kind of SKUs do we have duplication within our system? Do we have multiple different emails set up for different people? Do we have different ship-to codes, right? So we have our main office, our satellite office, and then we've got a series of distribution centers. There's all kinds of different information that we have in multiple different systems. Maybe we want to use this as an opportunity to data cleanse, to do a comparison of what's going on in my system and let me know where the problems lies. Bring that forward to me, then let me react to it. What do I need to do to the next step so I can have data cleansing? And then inactivity data, and this truly, from my perspective, is an important, probably, if this alone makes sense. If you follow my scenario of you've got salespeople within every organization, salespeople in every organization are highly incentive to sell new customer ads, right? Here's my new NCA, I need a new customer ad. At the same time, I also want you to be a territory manager or an account manager. And I'm going to give you 350 to 500 different accounts that I need you to manage along the way. Well, the reality is that most account managers all the time are dealing with fires. They're not really interacting with their customers in those accounts if you have 300, 500 different accounts going on, because they're always dealing with fires. When something bubbles up, that's what they deal with. Again, my main focus is new customer ads. I have to sell new customer ads. So everything starts to slide down the line, if you will, of response time. By using Sage Alerts and Workflow, we can look into the system and constantly say to your salespeople, this customer hasn't been touched in the last 90 days. This customer's buying habits have changed over the last 3 purchase orders that have come into you. And maybe those are a good thing or a bad thing, right? If I look at history of your customer and it says, they've always bought this many items at this price point, and their cadence of their purchase orders have come in every 3 weeks. All of a sudden, I see that cadence now go to 5 weeks. I see their units quantity ordered drop, right? So a buying habit has changed within that customers. Let's notify the salesperson. Maybe they've dropped the line. If the number has gone up, maybe they've done an acquisition or there's an opportunity to sell more products. Maybe there's a suggestion if this product is always sold with a sister product, maybe we can call out everyone within your customer base that says these are the ones that who have purchased product A, there's an opportunity to sell them product B. So inactivity data allows the salespeople to know what's going on within that customer base. No one's orders are not coming in, quantities have changed, buying habits have differed. That draws that forward so now they can be proactive into them and call the customer, hey, what's changed in your world? If you added a new business, what is it, right? So again, we don't get to the end. There was never a fire, so we never noticed it because we didn't react to it, but the customer slowly slipped away. This way, we're actively looking at the database, actively looking at the activity within the customer base, and letting you know when something's different or something's changed. So it's a huge opportunity for, to keep our salespeople focused on new customer ads, dealing with those fires that they have to deal with, but having the software in the background covering their back with the existing customer base. Great opportunity for the software there. And then anytime, anywhere alerts, right? None of us are sitting at our desks right now. A lot of you, are going to get this presentation and record because you're not sitting at your desk and you don't have time right now because you're busily doing your jobs. Anytime, anywhere alerts work that same way. I need to get an alert, and I'm not in the office, but I want my day-end sales, my AR cash flow, everything that's important to me as a finance person or a business owner to run my business, I want delivered to me at the end of the day. When I'm on holidays, when I'm on the weekends, I don't need all these reports all the time, but maybe there's some specific things because I do run a global operation or a 24/7 operation, and you want to have some of the information come to you, but not all the information right now. So maybe timestamp those ones from 9 to 5 during the work week, but don't send it to me on the holidays. And maybe there's new holidays and corporate holidays that you want to add, right? So there's all types of different ways to manipulate the data on when I'm going to deliver it. But again, I don't want an email. Send me an SMS, right? So send it to my phone, send it to my watch, send me information that's important to me to make me, react in my business. But also, if there's something going on that I can immediately take. If this happens, then do that type of environment. So the information can be shared internally, externally with anyone that you've set up. And this includes, customers and vendors. If you need to communicate to them, have that software drive that timestamp, if you will, and get it out to the appropriate people. And then triggered updates, right? All kinds of things happen within the databases, again, across any Sage databases. If this happens, then do that scenario. So if a client is overdue, then put them on credit status. notify the salesperson, notify the sales manager. If an order comes inbound and the order quantity value plus the order quantity values on hand with existing orders plus the orders in the AR exceed the credit limit of the customers, maybe we want to notify the salesperson to reach out or the finance people to reach out to talk to the customer about getting that AR cleared up before we bring in a new order into our system, right? Maybe we want to give people that take discounts at the end of the quarter, right? We're running a promo right now, but next week, if you didn't take advantage of it this month, we're not going to honor it next month. But some customers will still try to push that through the order just because it takes a long time to get through their system to create the purchase order, if you will, or get approval for that purchase orders. Well, it is after the fact, but maybe you want to have that conversation or send it to the salesperson so that they have the conversation with the customers about how important their business is to you, and you're going to honor that even though it has expired. Lots of good PR working with your client doing that in those type of scenarios using triggered updates. Lots of us are producing products, whether it be through bill of materials or through subcomponents, bring them all together. But we're all dealing with price fluctuations from shipping to labor, right? There's all kinds of different things that are going on. So show me all the quotes that are open in my system. Show me all the quotes that are about to expire in 7 days. Show me all the quotes that have these items on it because there's been a price change associated with that product because we had to move to a different supplier, if you will, right? So show me where my exposure is on all the orders that I have in house for that product. There's all kinds of different trigger events that you can set up. And again, the event packs come with them, but we want you to take this and embrace the product and start making your own events that are specific and important to your business with these triggered updates. So how does Sage Alerts and Workflow work? So we're monitoring databases, and we're monitoring databases that are both on Sage Partner Cloud or one of the cloud partners of Sage. It could be on Azure, it could be on any of the different cloud solutions. We're monitoring client server solutions. We monitor all the databases, whether they be a Providex, SQL database, pervasive database, all the different ways the data could come to you. We also monitor websites. So if you're dealing with different websites like LinkedIn and Indeed and for HRMS customers, if you're monitoring price changing of commodities or exchange rates, we're monitoring in real time that information. We also monitor Office 365 or inbound emails like Gmails and things like that for keywords like help at, support at, info at your organization. So we're monitoring data. We then take that data based on your criteria that you set up in those event packs. What do you want us to do with that? So if this happens, do that, right? So we need to maybe take that information that's coming in our email and we look for words called support. And any of those support informations, you want us to populate them up on a monitor within your support organization so that people become aware of them quicker. Maybe we want to monitor your email, so if we don't see a response going out in a reasonable amount of time, you determine, let's say if no response to that email in an hour, escalate that email to someone else. Because if we're looking at emails that are coming into your organizations that say sales at or info at, we don't want those to sit for a day or two, right? We're all too busy if we don't get a response back in a reasonable amount of time, we just move on to your competitor, or we just move on to something else. So you want to hit those type of responses of inbound inquiries to your business immediately. Have it go out and maybe send an auto response saying, hey, thanks for your email. This has been escalated to our support organizations, and you'll be hearing back with them within the next whatever, 30 minutes, if you will, so that we're always constantly communicating with the customers just using technology. And again, that can go through emails or text or FTP sites or WhatsApp, all different ways of notifying whoever needs to be notified. And then forms and delivery, right? Being it SSRS, crystal reports, what have you, any data that resides in those databases, we can capture and send. We can send it out as an attachment. We can send it out as embedded into the document as well. So that's your decision of how you want it to send out. And then some people don't want to have a series of data. Some people just want, chart it. Send me a bar chart or pie chart, what have you. Send that information about month-end sales, day-end sales, AR aging reports, anything that you want, we can create from the data into a visual document. And then update status, right? So we talked about syncing of the different databases and having that holistic view of my Sage my business. And that could be both Sage products and other solutions that run within your organization, as long as we can access their database. And again, we can do that through a direct SQL call, or we can do it through an ODBC connection, or we can do it through .NET. We can do it through an API. So connecting to all the different ways that you run your business through data. So we'll talk about REST APIs because, everybody seems, has them. Every database has them now, that we can connect to cloud services, and different cloud services that are out there are things, I talked about exchange rates. If you're routing HRMS packages, you're tying into Indeed, or you're tying to job boards like Monster and so on. So information that's sharing in and out of the system through the APIs. If you want to send a pick, pack, and shipping order, maybe that's sitting into a warehouse that's in 3 states over, we can send that out to their system. Maybe there's a printer that we need to print shipping labels and it's somewhere else within the organization or another state. So tying into different REST APIs along the way allows you to take the data and communicate in a greater fashion to different and dissimilar databases out there, but communicating in a constant language so that you're getting it back into the way that Sage deals with it within your organization. And then so the bigger picture, if you will, if you make yourself the nucleus of the world and the way that you run your business, it's all these different things that wrap around you that you need to deal with, whether it be the shipping where I want proof of deliveries, or shipment not found, or the banking industries where I want different information. There's all kinds of things that we can connect to and then edit, audit, and deliver to the appropriate databases within your system. So be it a client server or on-premise on your organization, or externally through REST APIs. So if you determine that you could, out of the 12 things that I just talked about, could benefit from Sage Alerts and Workflow, you need to determine whether you can. So if we said you have someone in your organization who's delivering forms every day, that are being produced, they're crystal reports or PDFs, what have you, and it's taking them 15 minutes a day to do that. It's costing about $175 a month to pay that person to do it, right? Sage Alerts and Workflow starts at $120 a month. So all the alerts that I talked about, and if you said, you want to set up with Sage 100 to start with, or Sage 300 to start with, you're going to get 100 different alerts. They're soft coded again, so you can write your own or edit these to make them more specific to your business. But you're starting out with 100 different alerts. One of those alerts is going to cover, you're going to get the ROI out of one of them, but now you've got 99 extra just to backfill that. $120 a month will get you that. You want to write a report, so you want to take that information and send it out in a crystal report or SSR report. It's going to additional $95 a month to do that. And then the workflow, so I need, if this, then do that. So I need something to happen, whether I'm updating a SQL database through a SQL trigger or what have you. All that part of the three components together. Basically $3,600 a year to operate that. And then it's by connections. So your first connection is my Sage 100. My second connection would be my Sage HRMS. My third connection would be my Sage Fixed Asset. My fourth connection could be, you know, my inventory advisor, or it could be another third party, Scanco, if you will. Once you get to 4 connections, you become unlimited. So now you want to tie in your Office 365. Now you want to tie into a printer. Now you want to look at some different databases within your own organizations. The cost doesn't go up. You can start tying your whole nucleus or your whole enterprise together for one fixed price. So with that, you know, work with your partner on getting a proposal to what you need. You may not need all 3 or 4 components of it. Maybe just want to start out with the alerting component of it. So all the information about ourselves, the product, can be found at knowledgesync.com. We're the producers of the product Sage Alerts and Workflow. You can download the software. Certainly by coming to me, I can get you the software where you can download it, install it in your organization, get it set up. We give you a 90-day license so you can get some of the events set up, not all 100 of them, but you may want to set up 3 that are crucial to your business that you say, you know, these 3 would help me be successful. We'll set those up for you, let you run it for 90 days. Free of charge, and then you can say, yep, I want to move forward with the purchase of it, and we'll work with both you and your partner to make that happen. All kinds of different informations about the products that are available through me, through the website. So from support to licensing, we try to put all the information in one spot now so that we can keep, you know, one repository for everything for you. So with that, Ali, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to ask these questions, and then I'll come back to me.
Yes, perfect. And just a reminder, after I launch this poll question, we have time to answer some questions. So if you have any, please enter those in the Q&A panel. I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. So would you be interested in a personalized demo of Sage Alerts and Workflow to your organization? Yes, over the next month. Yes, over the next 1 to 3 months, maybe, but I need some more information first, and not at this time. So I will leave this open for about 15 more seconds. So if everyone can please insert their answer, it'd be super helpful. All right, and I'm going to close it out in 3, 2, and 1. Great. Okay, sounds good. So let's see what questions we have. Just finding that on my... All right, so can the workflow be like an e-blast for many to respond at once, concurrent, or does it have to be one person does an action, then another, consecutive?
No, great question. So it can be sent to multiple people simultaneously. So I send it out to 100 people. I need 100 responses back. I can get those 100 responses back. It would be another event to then group those 100 responses to share them with everyone else, right? So if you wanted someone to see what someone else's response were, that would be a second alert. But each individual alerts can be sent to a group of people. That group of people can then respond individually back to that alert.
Great. And then the next one says, my reseller said it would be easier to create with the newer version. Can you briefly explain?
Yeah, so there's a couple things going on in technology. Our current version is 10.5.1. That was created predominantly based on Microsoft changing their, and you've all had to be experienced now, right? So 2-stage authentication. So all OAuth 2. So it has 2 layers of authentication set up in your Office 365. So that, you know, it goes to, you get an authorization when you try to log into something, and it goes to your phone to say, yes, that was really me, type things. The newer versions of 10 versus the older versions of 9 and prior to it aren't compatible with OAuth 2. So if you have one of the older versions, we, you know, highly suggest you move to the newer version. And from a new implementation, absolutely, from a componentry, it was a complete new rewrite to be compatible with today's technology. So yeah, absolutely, the newer version is far more elegant and intuitive than previous versions.
All right. And it looks like that's all the questions that we have right now.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll just finish up then, Ellie. It's like my contact information's here. My only job is to make sure you're successful with you and your partner. Certainly contact me directly, contact your partner. I'm available to work with you individually on what your business requires, where the value could be found for the product within your business. And I'll leave you with a system of actionable insights is the best means by which you can increase the responsiveness of your organization and differentiate yourself from your competition. So with that, Allie, I'll let everyone go. We hit the time slot.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thank you so much for walking us through your presentation. And to everyone that joined today, thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.